Hey, everybody, and welcome to yet another triple threat review show as part of Seductive Poison the Resurgence. These are kind of, I guess for me, they're kind of lazy streams because a lot of the movies, well, most of the movies I'm picking off of my shelf at, random intervals to do these, I've already seen. So, and they're pretty, fresh in my mind and stuff like that. They're not like the stuff I'm doing, for instance, with uh, Everybody Wants England. A lot of that early Robert England stuff is new to me, which is a good thing. But when you start getting to middle of the road later in the week, I start to get sort of lazy. So this is kind of like Dana's lazy string, okay, or Evil Dead Chick's lazy string. Hey, Kathy. Well, thank you. You say hi, Dana. Very cool intro. Um, yeah, I actually. I hope you like the what it's called a intro logo that says Deadites on Deck, and that for anybody that's watching that's interested in making your own stuff, motion array is perfect for this kind of stuff. I haven't even been able to get through all of the stuff that motion array has to offer, but for anybody that's interested in that and checking it out, I'll put that the website address in the chat. Now it does cost to get at the full stuff, and I believe I'm paying like $30 a month. But there's so much stuff on there that for me, somebody that's a content creator, it's a deal because there's all kinds of music, there's all kinds of graphics, there's photos, there's um, what I want to say, there's motion footage, just all different kinds of things that you can utilize if you have your own channel on YouTube or otherwise, and you're looking for a one-stop shop basically for elements to make intros and logos and all of that. um, this is a place to go. Another place where you can just get music basically that's copyright free is Audio Naughty, um, which I've used a lot of music from there. Hey, Super Batman Nerd. So I'll also put that website in the chat because when I first started out, I I didn't intentionally use stuff that was copyrighted in an attempt to like infringe on anybody. I just when I first started out, I didn't know any better. I knew about copyright law in relation to movies and stuff like that, but I didn't know that using a little snippet of something from a show or a movie could get your stream cut off. Because trust me, it's happened to me. Using even a little snippet of a song, and heaven help you if you use the whole song, what will happen to you? They don't take too kindly to that, YouTube or otherwise. And so I like to give people other options. Hey, Blissful. I like to give people other options if they're either one just building a channel, or they're starting to think about doing a channel, or they're revamping an old channel. Or lost access to an old channel, starting a new one. So I like to, give some suggestions for tools that you can use. And you can also use these, for personal things, if you're making home videos, transferring home videos, and you want to add music and um, transitions and all that stuff to them. This is another great resource for those types of things. So, again, I want to, people are going to get, hey, Chris. Chris says hi all, slash the like. I appreciate it as always, Chris. Um, People are going to get so sick of seeing these t-shirt graphics, but for the benefit of those that haven't seen them on Facebook, that haven't seen them when I've done the streams, I will do y'all the honor of showing these crazy t-shirts again. One second here, let me share my screen. And we'll just go to these. I'm gonna be, maybe perhaps I can add it tonight, because I don't intend on this stream being very long. I'm just going to be doing reviews of 3 different movies, but I will show you the ones that I do have up here. I guess the newest one is the Dead Pit Drive-By shirt. You can thank Blissful for encouraging me to do this particular design. And let me make that a little bit bigger for you guys and gals. It says, you finally made it when you get Dead Pit Drive-Bys on your streams. And so I was really proud of this design as well. I thought it turned out pretty well. That classic shot of CK and the captain, or Wes and Steve, there in the front. It was just too classic not to use. And then, of course, you've also got Uncle Bill and me in the car as well. And the car is green. I was trying to go with a Dead Pit theme. But again, you can get these shirts in many different colors. If they're not double-sided ones, you can actually get different. You can get the classic t-shirt. You can get a tri-blend t-shirt that's extra soft, a V-neck, a premium, a heavyweight, a eco t-shirt. For those of you that are eco-conscious, it's recycled and organic. You can get tall or an active one. Now, the double-sided prints of which I only have one, you can only get in a classic t-shirt, but you can get sizes from a small to a 5XL. You can get all kinds of colors. Okay. And not only that, but you don't have to, if you're not a t-shirt guy or gal, there are baseball shirts, there are hoodies, there are tank tops. There's wall art. There are mugs with the designs on it, pillows, totes, tapestries, but not, I think there's only one of my designs, and it's the, one of the original Deadites on Deck designs that is big enough to put on a tapestry. But you can get pins, phone cases, stickers, magnets. You can get all those things. So let's go over a few more of these designs that I have. This is the Canadian horror t-shirt. It's not horror if it ain't Canadian horror. And it has me in my Bloody Valentine t-shirt from Fright Rags with a Moosehead, a bottle of Moosehead there. So if you guys and gals are really into Canadian horror, you can pick up your Canadian horror shirt. By the way, the Dead Pit Drive-By shirt for about 4 more hours is $16, and then it will go up to $22. You guys and gals can pick up the little Stevie Torrance shirt. Steve can't wake up, Mrs. Torrance. I got to do that every time. So we have, this was a hilarious image to me when I first created it. I couldn't stop laughing because you have Steve's face with his glasses on Danny Torrance or Danny Lloyd's body there. All right. So we also have the Midday with Dana and Jay with transparent background or with a not transparent background. This is the one with the transparent background. This is the only double-sided shirt. It's the Midday with Dana and Jay shirt. Because I didn't want the front image to be too busy. This is the front of the image where um, I'll make that a little bigger. Where I've taken Jay's face and put it on Jack Nicholson's body from the film, and I've taken my face and put it on Shelley Duvall's face or body from the movie as well. We have the typewriter with blood splattered sheet of paper and even blood spatters on the typewriter itself. And it says, "All work and no play makes Jay a dull boy." Um, and the back of the shirt has little Stevie Torrance, and it says, "Midday with Dana and Jay. You never know what will scare up." Now, I have one on the way. Hopefully, it'll make it here by tomorrow, which would be awesome because I could wear it during the Midday with Dana and Jay shirt. Show. I mean, I got shirts on the brain. Now, this is the one that has the non-transparent background. This is the original design. You can see the table that the typewriter is actually sitting on, and you get a little extra blood splatters there. You can get the retro Reggie Valentine shirt, which has my baby Reggie on it. Isn't he a cutie? You can also get the original Reggie Valentine shirt. I know it's past Valentine's Day, but you can get geared up for next year, or you could wear this shirt any old time. We also have the official TMI show shirt. That's a mouthful. Breaking down barriers and dropping jaws since 2023. And then we have the original Movie Munchies shirt design. We have the Movie Munchies Deliverance Squeal Like Pigs in a Blanket shirt. Again, you can thank Blissful for encouraging me to do that design on a t-shirt. And then, of course, you have the old couple of designs that were originally on the site. All right. So I'm going to stop boring you guys and gals with that. Hey, Wes. Hey, Russell. Oh, wow. Russell says, "Hey, Dana and chat, finally got a major snowstorm in Ontario." Oh, and Chris has got his new media tower already full. Chris says, "I did not calm down buying stuff on the screen D-Day sale." Blissful, you think the Dead Pit Drive-By is the coolest wanted poster ever? You know, you keep saying wanted poster. That's making me want to do a wanted poster type of design, actually. But I got to come up with some way to make it unique. Chris, you say, "We got some good films here. Have not seen April Fool's Day in a few decades." Yeah, you're going to get a little refresher on April Fool's Day tonight, Chris. This one. Now, Wes, you know I'm not ashamed of you guys. Now, did I not promise you, guys, both of you, that if you could calm down for 1 month of, not giving Joe Bob grief, I would join your Patreon. Not at the $5 tier, but at the $10 tier. Because that was the deal I made with Uncle Bill. I am definitely not ashamed of you guys. Chris says, I purchased Shocker, Dreamscape, Love at First Bite, Once Bitten, It's a Live Trilogy, and TerrorVision, The Video Dead. All good purchases, I feel like, Chris. I don't know how much you spend on them, but they sound like solid choices. I just want to remind everybody what's going on the rest of the week into the weekend. So tomorrow, of course, will be another midday with Dana and Jay. We don't have a topic picked out. So me and Jay may very well be on there just bullshitting about anything and everything. And no TMI stuff, or I don't think so. But anyway, we'll be on there talking about something. And that'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday will be a watch along for Motel Hell, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Sunday, the watch along will be for Groundhog Day. And I know it's past Groundhog Day, but you can never have too much Bill Murray, right? So, then the movie munchies for Sunday will be Captain Howdy Burgers. Jay gave me the idea. There is a restaurant, I guess, called Howdy Burger, and that's what they make. Only we're going to have Captain Howdy Burgers with guacamole on them instead of pea soup. But I think that's going to be a fun one. So be sure to tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday to watch me as I make Captain Howdy Burgers. Kathy, you say, I joined Dead Pit at the $5 tier because I am cheap, but I care. Oh, well, that's very nice, Kathy. I'm sure the boys appreciate it. Wes says, after Dana's show, we are doing a 40 Years of Freddy special at 10 p.m. And Dana, we haven't said anything bad about Joe Bob for nearly a month already. Hey, are you guys trying to cash in on my Everybody Wants England by doing this Freddy thing? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just yanking your chain. Wes, you said we have an exclusive show for our supporters on our Patreon YouTube page. Is that the Freddy special? Yeah, I would love to have a box set of the Nightmare on Elm Street films in 4K. Blissful says, actually, it's been a few weeks. All righty, so let's go ahead and get started with the three films I wanted to review. And keep in mind, I will be using the Deadites rating scale, which we've been using for everything from movies to sex devices. Just ask Jay. So anyway, the first one I want to talk about is An American Werewolf in London, directed by John Landis. No matter what you may or may not think about or feel about John Landis, this is one fantastic werewolf film. And so a lot of people say, you're crazy, Dana. The Howling is better than this, or The Howling has a better werewolf transformation scene. Okay, I'll just say this right off. The Howling does have a fantastic transformation scene, but let me ask you this. Does it have a scene that is in bright, harsh light where you can see everything, including any zippers that might be showing up? And it's absolutely, in my opinion, flawless. Okay? And looks very painful. Looks like what you would think a werewolf transformation would be like if there were real werewolves. Chris, you say, hell yeah, I have that 4K of Werewolf in London. Isn't it fantastic, Chris? I love this film anyway, but to have it in 4K and to have it, you get this booklet and you get a poster, which I'm not going to unfold. I'm sorry. Because I'll probably have a hell of a time getting it folded back up. And then, of course, you get the film itself in 4K. And this is the Arrow release. I'm going to attempt to put this back in here. And there's like a ton of extras on this, too. Yep, exactly, Super Batman nerd. Blue Moon, you saw me standing alone. I'm not going to try to sing because you guys don't want me to sing. Chris, you say, I like Howling just a little more, but Werewolf in London is about as disturbing. And yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I get slightly perturbed when people say, that I'm crazy because I like this one a little bit better and think the werewolf transformation scene is just absolutely fantastic. Rick Baker knocked it out of the freaking ballpark with this, and nobody will tell me different. I'll watch The Howling. I love The Howling. And I love Silver Bullet. But there's just an American Werewolf in London holds a special place in my heart. And I think part of the reason might be the humor, albeit dark humor, but humor that is in American Werewolf in London that John Lane has kind of wove into the fabric of the film. And, no matter what you may think of David Knott, I mean, he's excellent in this. Griffin Dunn is excellent in this. They play two friends who are going on I guess, essentially a backpacking trip across, the UK. And I think they're going to go to Italy and France and all those places. But, of course, it starts out in the UK and they're, hitching rides with farmers with sheep who shit on one of the guys' packs or their backpacks. And just the banter back and forth between Jack and David, David Naughton and Griffin Dunn's characters. I know it's kind of raunchy and stuff like this, but two red-blooded young American guys, can you imagine? This is the stuff they would be talking about. For instance, Jack, Griffin Dunn's character, says at one point when they're walking, he says, there's nothing mediocre about Debbie Clyde's body. And, and then they're talking some more about her, and Jack seems to take offense at something David said, and he said, hey, you're talking about the woman I love. And he says, we're talking about a woman you want to fuck, okay? So I always laugh at those lines. And even after Jack's character is killed by the werewolf and comes back to warn David, who was just attacked by the werewolf, that when the moon becomes full, he's going to turn into a werewolf and he's going to kill other people. And these people that David kills throughout the movie as the werewolf show up with Jack, like in a porno movie theater. And they, they're slashed and bloody and gory and all that. And they actually said that Griffin Dunn was a little depressed when, his makeup was all on and there was this one little piece of latex skin that was kind of wiggling back and forth. Now, you can notice it in the film, but I don't concentrate too much on it. But when David sees Jack for the first time in the hospital room, he's like, basically, you can't be here. You're dead, And so Jack keeps telling him, you've got to kill yourself, David. You've got to do it or you're going to go on killing people. And basically, you're going to be haunted by the people that you kill. Jenny Agutter plays a nurse who ends up. I mean, yeah, David Naughton was a nice looking guy back then, but I don't know that I would be that enamored of some guy I didn't even know really outside of the hospital that I would take him home to my flat, or my apartment. But she does, and they end up having a pretty hot, and steamy in more ways than one shower scene together and a lovemaking scene together. Um, but this movie, for all the dark humor and all that, oh, I want to talk about one other funny part where David turns into the werewolf and he wakes up in the zoo naked and he climbs out of one of the animal dens. He's in there with some wolves. And so he's like, I gotta find something, to cover up my nether regions, And he sees this little English boy and he steals the little boy's balloons, and the little boy goes up to his mother and she asks how he's doing. And he said, "A naked American man just stole my balloons." And I can't do the British accent, but it's just so hilarious. Then he steals a woman's red coat and he's running around with that on. Yeah, you look like Meatloaf. Jack is essentially a walking meatloaf. Yes, you were right, Super Batman Nerd. The nurse, Jenny Agutter, later plays the foster mother to Andy in Child's Play 2. Yes, I agree with that too, 100% Super Batman Nerd, that John Landis went on to direct the zombie music video, Michael Jackson's Thriller, which has got to be one of the greatest music videos ever put on film. But if you've never seen American Werewolf in London, I was going to say, for all its little dark comedy and humor added to it, it does have a tragic end to it, sadly, as most werewolf movies tend to do. They tend to go that route. But if you've never seen American Werewolf in London, I say, find you for free version. I'm not going to tell you to go out and buy this 4K version or any version for that matter. Try to find a for free version first and check this movie out. If it's been a while since you've seen it, I say pull that sucker back off the shelf. I know I say that a lot. It may sound like it's overused, but I try to reserve that for the really great films in the genre. And I think American Werewolf in London fits that bill completely. Chris, you say Garrett did films that need a good release. First one he mentioned was Twilight Zone film. It's stuck on DVD. Why am I thinking that they put out a Blu-ray version of that at one time? Perhaps I'm wrong. Maybe I've got it confused with something else. Super Batman Nerd, you say, just like the Moors, stay away from the god-awful sequel. I think I may have seen the sequel once. And yeah, it wasn't good. Russell, you say, Super Batman Nerd, I did as a teen, and young man, they called us Meatball. I actually think the Blu-ray is out of print. Yeah, that's probably the case. So that's American Werewolf in London. So moving on to Amityville Horror. A lot of people, surprisingly enough, don't like this movie. Even Margot Kidder, who starred in the movie, said this movie was a piece of shit. Yeah, it's Hollywoodized, if that's a word. And even the Lutz family, George Lutz mainly, said that things were expanded upon because Hollywood got a hold of the story, and they got to add a little glitz and glitter and guts and gore or whatever you want to call it to make it more acceptable to the horror movie watching audience, right? So, although it's not scene for scene um, retelling of what happened to the Lutzes, it's the Hollywood version of what happened to the Lutzes in that house in Amityville. And I find it very entertaining. I find it scary. Um, I find it special effects oriented when it needs to be. Very creepy, dark tone that pervades the whole entire film, really. I'm not saying it's The Exorcist or anything. I'm not saying that at all. But the Amityville horror, when I want to watch a gritty, old school for the 70s anyway, creepy haunted house movie, okay? The Amityville horror is going to be one that's at the top of my list of movies to watch. It just is. Um, I find it fun. I find it engrossing. I find it creepy. And there are some scenes in this movie that literally get under my skin and stay there a while, especially the first time I watched this. And I think James Brolin is great in this. Rod Steiger's great in it. Margot Kidder's great in it. Um, I think also it's one of those films that there's not really a weak link in it. And never fear, I'm going to go back and give a rating for American Werewolf in London. I just realized I didn't give one for it. Um, yes, Russell, the second Amityville Horror, The Possession, with Burt Young, that movie was kind of a blown out version, special effects bonanza laden version of the first family that lived there, the DeFeos. Um, so yeah, it's a good film. It's a very good horror film. Um, the stuff about the brother and the sister and the whole incest thing was a little, yeah. But other than that, the film itself was good. No, you won't catch heat, Super Batman Nerd. I don't want anybody catching heat in my streams for their opinions. Um, you like the remake with Ryan Reynolds. That is perfectly fine. I hated it, but if you like it, that is perfectly fine. Yeah, a little bit of incest. That's right, Russell. Um, but I don't think I need to go into the whole complete plot of the Amityville Horror. I think most, if not all of you in here right now, know the plot of the Amityville Horror, or you've heard about what happened to the Lutz family. And so you can kind of, or the DeFeo family. There's a ton of books, excuse me, about both cases. But let me go ahead and give a rating for the Amityville Horror. People are probably going to disagree with me on this. They're probably going to say, Dana, you're crazy, crazy, crazy. But that's okay. I never said I was sane all the time. So I will give it 5 deadites out of 5. Just because I think it's a great little creepy flick. If Margot Kidder was still alive, we would just have to agree to disagree on that. And I'll just go ahead and leave the scale up there for 5 deadites out of 5, because I also give the 5 deadites out of 5 to An American Werewolf in London, without question. All right. So the last film I want to talk about tonight, even though it is not April yet, it's not April Fool's Day yet, I'm going to talk about the film April Fool's Day from 1986. And look, I probably should have sent this back, because look what they did to the slipcover of this. They just massacred it. I can. So, Uncle Bill, this is my stream. I can give all three of these 5-star ratings if I want to. Are you saying American Werewolf in London is so much better than Amityville Horror? Well, could be, but based on, just based on the merit of both of the movies, I have to give them 5 Deadites out of 5. Yeah, I do, Chris. I do have the April Fool's Day with the slip, but like I said, they massacred it. I don't know if Scream Factory did that or something else happened. But I also love this original cover. This was actually what got me to rent this damn thing many moons ago, back in my video store rental days. Because look at that. I mean, is that not classic? So you've got the girl toasting everybody else at the party. If you notice, her hair is braided in the shape of a noose, and she's also got a knife behind her back. Okay. So, if, in case there are some of you that haven't seen April Fool's Day, I'll give a quick and dirty plot synopsis. So, Buffy, played by Deborah Foreman, has invited her college friends, to her parents' island home, supposedly for the time of their lives. But actually, before the kids get to the island and the house, um, I don't know, Wes, who the fuck hasn't seen April Fool's Day. I'm sure there's somebody that hasn't seen it. I mean, maybe Blissful hadn't seen it. I know she's in here. Um, so they're on the ferry going over to the island, and the two of the boys play a joke, and a lot of the other guys end up jumping in the water because they think they're going to have to save the one guy. So the I don't know what you would call him, a deckhand or whatever. He ends up staying in the water, and he says he'll take care of whatever he's got, throwing this rope on something. He'll just do that while he's already in the water. Well, the fairy comes close to his head and crushes his face, and he comes up out of the water, all screaming and stuff like that. Special effects bonanza. And they Cal, the ferryman, ends up like rushing Buck off to the hospital. So the kids are kind of, not really saying a whole lot and all that. And then they get to the island, and Buffy's like, "What happened?" Because the cop is, or the constable is with them and stuff, and he says, pranks and stuff. Ask your friends. So later on, people start ending up dead slowly, and their first thought is, "Oh, Buck, he's lost his freaking mind because he blames us for what happened to him." But I don't want to give all of this away in case there are those of you that haven't seen it, because there's a couple of twists along the way. And if you've ever read the novelization of April Fool's Day, it has a totally different ending. Actually, the ending they were going to go with for the movie. So if you can get your hands on a copy of that, of the original novelization, I say read it. I mean, watch the movie and then read the book, or you could do the reverse, I guess, if you wanted to. But this is directed by Fred Walton, who I think he was the guy that directed When a Stranger Calls, if I am remembering correctly. And so you have not one, but two Deborahs in this. You have Deborah Foreman and Deborah Goodrich. You have Amy Steele. Um, you have Clayton Ronner or Roner. I never am sure exactly how you pronounce it. And yes, Scheme Factory did put this out, but yeah, what are you gonna do? I love this movie. A lot of nostalgia for this movie because, like I said, the first time I saw it, I rented it at my local video store, and this cover here is what got me to rent it, guaranteed. Hey, Dirk. Well, she said, I would imagine that 1986 Amy Steele's ass tastes like strawberry delight. I wouldn't know anything about that. Chris, you say Amy Steele's your fave final girl? Wes, you say that cover wouldn't fly today. You mean this one? Probably not. People don't have sense of humor. Wes, you say, Dana, you should do triple threat reviews on movies you've never seen before. That would be interesting. Well, I'll try to do that, Wes. That's an interesting way to do it. Maybe rename it to a different show. Yeah, yeah, I could do that. Chris, you say I had the VHS. Shit, don't know what you had till it's gone. Super Batman Nerd, you say I barely seen the OG April Fool's Day, but the remake bore me to death. I don't think I even tried to watch the remake. Uncle Bill says I'm a Debbie Foreman mark, so that's probably mostly why I like it. And Amy Steele, yeah. So Super Batman Nerd hasn't seen it, Wes. So oh, Kathy. Well, I'm glad I didn't give away all the nifty stuff at the end because Kathy hasn't seen April Fool's Day. Remember, I'm a newbie to lots of horror. Um, if you can find a for free version of April Fool's Day, Kathy, I'd highly recommend it. Chris confirmed it. He says, "Yep, Fred Walton directed When a Stranger Calls, underrated, creepy slasher like film." I agree. The remake of April Fool's Day is an abomination. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Russell. You said the French film Inside is a Christmas slasher. Oh, good Lord. I didn't even try to watch the shitty prom night remake, Uncle Bill. But what's my rating for April Fool's Day? Um, I would probably, I don't have any halves, but I'd probably have to give it a 4.5 if I was to be totally 100% truthful on that. So we had two fives and a 4.5. So I'm ready for the complaints to start here. How could you do that? How could you get ah well, I don't know. I gave it almost a five, Uncle Bill. I gave it a 4.5. Hey, I like Amityville horror. I think it's a creepy haunted house movie. Oh, I agree, Chris. The original Prom Night is great. Hello, Mary Lou is a Nightmare on Elm Street like great film. I think Hello Mary Lou had to grow on me because I think the first time I saw it, I was expecting it to be like a continuation of the story in the first film, and it wasn't. I was kind of pissed off, but over time, I've got a greater appreciation for it. Really, Superman, or the original prom night bored you too? That's okay. You don't have to be sorry about that. I'm surprised. But there's probably other people that it bored too, so I wouldn't feel bad about that at all, Super Batman Nerd. Um, so I have officially finished the reviews that I wanted to do and gave my rating on all of them. There are still 13 people in here, so if I can probably stay on here a few minutes more. I've been having some terrible sinus trouble, and so before I got on here, I was in terrible pain. My cheeks and my ears and everything were hurting. Thankfully, that's eased up some. Chris, you say all good, Superman nerd. It's not for everybody. It's like a Jallo type film. Yeah, Uncle Bill said shit on you, Daner, because I didn't give April Fool's Day a 5. It can't all be fives though, right? Can't all be fives. Um, I like Amityville too. Dirk, you say it's the best in the franchise. However, there's just something about the whole incest thing that bothers me. I think it doesn't make me hate the movie, and it's not like there's a whole bunch of it in there, but and I know they're not really brother and sister and all that, but they're supposed to be in the film. And the whole thing about, I don't know if he's hypnotizing her somehow. Hopefully, a sister would not willingly take her nightgown or her shirt off just because her brother told her to. That's just like really creepy. But as far as, a story and the creep factor and the special effects and all that, yeah, I definitely like it. So I'll probably stay on here a couple more minutes till 8:50, and then call it a night because I'm going to go take a nice hot shower with some shower steamer, eucalyptus shower steamers, and hopefully that'll make my sinuses feel better. Chris, you say I have Amityville 2 as part of a DVD box set that comes with the original and the remake. Have that Amityville 4K that Vinegar Syndrome brought out. Yeah, that is. Um, I think when this originally came out, it had a slip cover, and I got it a little bit later, so I didn't get the slip cover. Dare you say I hope they do part two? Well, it says everybody in the chat, if you get a sec, go vote for Dirk and Darren for horror YouTuber of the month. Voting lasts until when, Dirk? Yes, thank you for bringing that up too, Wes. Yeah, definitely everybody go and vote for Dirk and Darren. And Chris says, yes, go vote. Whew, goodness gracious. Well, guys and gals, and Dirk says till the end of February you can vote. So it is now 8:50. Yes, Russell, you are right. The Beast Within has a great transformation scene, and I will be covering that one here before long. But it is now 8:50, and it's time for me to call it a night, I think, and get all relaxed and everything. Just have a half day of work, and then it'll be almost time for midday with Dana and Jay, and then the weekend, of which I'm looking forward to. I'm going to try to get over whatever this sinus issue is. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says great live. Chris says great stream. And so on that note, I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night. And TJ's not here to witness this, and I will see everyone on the flip side. You guys have a great night, and I'll see everybody next time.